All right, live now. So everyone watching, welcome to Sinister Sunday number 8. This we talking about some of our favorite female vocalists in metal and some uh, uh, female-led metal bands and whatnot. We do have a special guest with us today on our Rebellion panel, that being Jessica from My Life as a Death Metal Drummer's Wife. So welcome to the panel, Jessica. Glad to have you here. And hopefully our big of a deal tonight. I know probably the cold weather and some storms and stuff like that may slightly affect the stream, but we'll see. So yeah, if you guys want to, in the comments section, throw us some names of your female metal bands or female-led metal bands or artists and stuff like that. Feel free to do that. Feel free to, as well, to throw up any questions you like. If you want to support the channel or the stream, there is super chat there. $2, you can get your question answered by the whole Rebellion panel here and make sure your voice is heard. So that's available as well. How am I coming everyone's end here?
Loud and clear on my end. Thank you for the invite.
Very welcome, Jessica. All right, so I'm just going to announce my panel. Besides Jessica from My Life as a Death Metal Drummer's Wife, we also have from Mr. Evil Ops, we have Trez from Total Metal Rejection, and of course we have Mr. Azag Gala from Azag's Abyss, who recently just hit 100 subs. So congrats to him. Make sure you guys go to check out his channel and enter his giveaway. But yeah, so that's the panel. Who would like to start off their favorite female vocalists and female-related metal bands?
I guess I'll start off.
All right, sounds good.
All right. I just did a 3-part series about extreme female artists. I released the last one yesterday.
Yep.
And as I said in like the first spot, I really couldn't. I was torn. So it was torn between Gory Laurie and Joe Bench, obviously. These are women from my era, my generation. You know, I'm from Generation X, you know, born in the 70s. And, you know, Laurie was born in the 60s. But I think Joe Bench is only like a couple of years older than me. They were a big influence to me as a younger female. I came across Gory Laurie. I saw Nuclear Death in the Wild Rags floating around. I didn't even know it was a female until, believe it or not, get this, back in the day, if you were fortunate enough to have cable. One of my friends had cable. I had a black and white TV until 1986. But one of my friends had the cable, so we were watching what was called like Access Television. I don't know. I know maybe you Canadians don't have that.
Yep, Access Television. Yeah.
Access Television. So we were up, you know, watching Access Television, and this one guy in my area used to do bands. So, but it used to come on at like 2 and 3 in the morning. So we were sitting up like on a Wednesday. So we were watching it, and up came Nuclear Death clip. He had a live clip that he showed. There was also an interview, and I mean, she was just so wild and so vivacious and full of life. And I was like, whoa, this chick's crazy, but I love her. You know, she's just so wild and animated and just out there. And like, I was like, look at her hair. Like, I have to go wash my hair, get that hairspray out right now. She was like covered in blood and running around, getting naked in the crowd, and just it was just wild. And I was like, man, I saw that in the Wild Rags, I had been seeing Nuclear Death, and I was like, man, Carrion for Worms was the first one that I had gotten from them. And, you know, you had to write and send either a money order, or if you were brave like me, sometimes I did send cash, even though you're not supposed to, but I did anyway. So you send it out, and then lo and behold, 2 to 3 months later, an awesome gift arrives, and it was Carrion for Worms. And from there, Bolt Thrower was not too far behind in my discovery. I used to play a lot of D&D. As a matter of fact, we were playing tabletop D&D today. I told the kids it was time to scram before you sent me the invitation. But you know, I was highly into the Dungeons and Dragons, and you know, Bolt Thrower was, you know, pretty right on. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't know if any of you guys have made a top 10 female video, but I'm encouraging anybody to meet the challenge and try to put it out there like I did.
Yeah, I tried to do a top 10, but yeah, like always, I tried to do something. I'm like, damn it. I know that after this live stream, I'm like, oh man, I should have included this person and this person, but let's see how it goes. I don't know if it's gonna reach top 10, but yeah, definitely, there's a ton out there that are fucking awesome. So yeah.
Cool. Is there anyone else that has their, you know, few favorite female-fronted metal bands that they want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I'll go. I'd say the first one for sure for me is sorry, my microphone keeps messing up on me here, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I believe her name is Vincari or something, or Vincare or something like that. She's a vocalist and keyboardist from a U.S. black metal band, Atrium and Redis. They're kind of like an occulty black metal band, you know, with, you know, the robes, that kind of stuff. But she's got a really, just a visceral, kind of raw, harsh sounding vocals that I really tend to go for in black metal. Just awesome stuff. She's definitely criminally underrated, I would say, as a female vocalist. I don't think I can go without mentioning the singer from Darken Nocturnal, Slaughter Call, Only Her.
Yes.
Nice.
By far, I would match her vocals up any day against any male in the business, and I'm pretty confident she can hold her own. And just that sound, and I mean, an amazing guitarist as well. Those catchy ass riffs that she comes up with are amazing. And then I would probably bring up Lucifugum from Ukraine. They're pretty awesome. I don't know if you can make that out, but got a picture of her there. Her name is Stebath. Again, they're kind of a raw, just unmixed Ukrainian black metal band. Just shrilly high-ass vocals, awesome stuff, very raw and chilling as well. And probably catch a lot of shit for this one, but I'm a big fan of Anguished and Possessed Demoness. I know a lot of people didn't dig that album because they're really high-pitched, shrill vocals, but I thought it's up there as well. But, I mean, that's probably it for black metal. I would say death metal. Jen Pickett from the Chicago band Black September is pretty awesome. Pretty good vocals. And then, you know, old school arch enemy with Angela. Can't beat that either. I kind of left interest with the band after she left, so I can't really speak to the new singer.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Well,
all right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Trez.
Yeah, that Onier, I think her name is, from Darken Nocturnal Slaughter Cults. Got that right finally, in the same order. But yeah, her vocals and just shredding on guitar as well is just fucking awesome. Yeah, the awesome vocalist and guitarist at the same time. And Signor Palmieres, I think it's from Cerebral Bore. Just the deepest growls in brutal death metal. I fucking love her vocals. It's just so, you know, she could rival any dude out there, and it's just so fucking punishing. As far as any other vocalist, Angela, like you said, from Arch Enemy is pretty cool, and Caveira, I believe it's called, from I know my friend. He's been telling me to ever since we talked about the subject. He's been pushing me to say this. But Caviera from Opera 9, he got me into that band years ago and told me that it's a female fronted band and black metal band. Really, really awesome stuff. Yeah, and obviously others too. But yeah, and girl from Sinister too, Rachel, I think her name was. Really awesome. I think she held up Sinister when I think death metal and that stage when was a little bit going down. It was dipping down for a little bit, and I think she held Sinister up there with her vocals, and kept albums coming out, which is really cool. And I always look upon that and Sinister.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Trez?
I think so.
Well, I did say that was probably going to happen a bit tonight. The weather seems to be fucking with everyone's connection. I know my connection's probably not the greatest at the best of times, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, we just had him drop. So, Austin's still here. Are you still here, Austin, or are you MIA? I think he said in the chat that he's... Yeah, okay. So tonight's not really good for Austin. So whenever Trez returns, I guess I'll hand it back over to him. Was he cutting in and out for you guys too, or?
I'm fine.
No, he was pretty clear on my end.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, okay. So it might just be me that's having some of the connection issues here. So that's not surprising, to be honest. Am I here to you guys?
Repeat that.
I'll take that as a no. I was asking if I was coming clear through to you guys.
Now you are, but you were breaking up.
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good.
Okay. Well, I actually brought some physical copies out to show. I'm probably going to be cutting in and out, but here we go. So the first one, in no order really, but first one here is Synergy with Suicide by My Side. Female-led kind of extreme band of Children of Bodom. And that's actually kind of how I found out about Synergy, was kind of through Children of when Lexi Leho was dating the lead singer and whatnot. Not bad band, pretty decent stuff. Definitely into any kind of extreme metal, or if you're into Children of Bodom. And then the next one is a couple from a band that a lot of people were chatting about here. So that being Arch Enemy with Doomsday Machine and Anthems of Rebellion, which perfectly suited for this channel. But yeah, these are Angela DeGasso era. I know Alyssa White-Skloos is from The Agonist, and she joined later on. But before she joined Arch Enemy, she was, like I said, in The Agonist. So I got two of those here. The self-titled Lullabies for the Dormant Mind. Not bad releases if you're, into like kind of melodic metalcore / extreme metal. My favorite off of the main album here was Born Dead, Buried Alive, and the Suits and Combat Boots. Excellent tracks for sure. I think I saw them live back in their the dormant. Oh, looks like Trez is joining us again. Hopefully he can stay a little longer this time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But yeah, moving right along as well. I got ones too. I don't consider these next metal, but there's some decent female-fronted kind of harder bands. This is Hailstorm with the strange case of Hailstorm. First heard their Love Bites, Freak Like Me, and Daughters of Darkness tracks. It was pretty good. Like I said, you might not consider it metal because it's probably closer to hard rock than it is like metal, but it's decent kind of non-extreme metal band. But yeah, the singer, and then kind of along the same vein, maybe a little bit less heavy, is the Pretty Reckless. The wife actually has this vinyl, but yeah, this is Goes to Hell. You'd probably know the Follow Me Down track. Follow me down to the river, you know, whatever. But yeah, not bad album. The vocalist is pretty talented, and that's kind of a cool cover. All right, this shit's gonna fall over on me. I know it. All right, another one. Once again, not sure if you consider it metal, but it's a lot heavier than what she used to be doing. Now, if you know Sky Sweetnam, she used to do like pop punk. Okay, but then she's kind of moved on to this band called Sumo Cycle, and it's not bad. It's kind of got some heavy, there's some kind of guitar riffs. It's, I don't know what you consider it. It's like hard rock with some maybe new metal influences in it. But yeah, it's basically got Sky Sweetnam from her, you know, solo stuff. She branched out and started doing this. Any songs that really stick out on here, but it's all right stuff. But it's more the wife's thing. All right, the next two. Some people like them, some people don't. That's the Butcher Babies. And Take It Like a Man, which is kind of funny considering it's two female vocalists. Thing that is kind of interesting about this band is that the female vocalists, I think, used to be or still are Playboy bunnies. So that's kind of an interesting fact. Some people like them, some people don't. Some people think they're a bit of a kind of a gimmick because they dress really scantily clad, and sometimes they even dressed in pasties and thongs for shows. And I mean, it's all subjective to opinion, but I think the music's fairly talented, and you know, they got quite the vocal range on them, so you gotta give credit due credit is. Next one is one none of you guys have probably heard of, and I kind of only discovered it because the wife found it in actually through Deja Vu Discs, I think. But this is kind of like a metalcore band called Picture Me Broken. The vocalist is right there. Some all right songs. You kind of have to be into that genre to really enjoy it, but it is what it is. Like, it's more than just kind of hard rock. It's kind of metal, like I said, metalcore. There's some breakdowns or not. There probably is. It's been a while since I've listened to this, but yeah, when the wife got this, she threw it on quite a lot and very frequently. It's a well-fronted band. And the last thing I got to show here is once again one that a lot of people in this moment. These are the only albums that I kind of really enjoy, that being Black Widow and Blood. And to be honest, when I could not stand her vocals for whatever reason. It just didn't hit me right. I was trying to see here, what was the song that I first heard? I don't know if it was Horror or Blood, but yeah, one where she's like blah blah blah, something irritating. But after hearing it a few, 100 times because the wife loved it, it kind of grew on me. But yeah, so that's all I really got to show, is just that kind of stack. but there are like a ton of other ones too, like that are pretty decent. Like there's the kind of thrash death band called Nervosa.
Yep, from Brazil.
A group called Gallhammer. There's kind of like a new metal-y kind of band that's like in this moment and whatnot called Straight Line Stitch. There's also New Year's Day. That new metal-y one like Lacuna Coil. But yeah, if there's any other bands you guys want to chat about now, feel free.
Yeah, but you want to say from Brazil, Valhalla, female-fronted vocalist, drummer at the same time, does blast beats and all that good stuff. Awesome stuff. And I think old school grindcore band, Fuck the Facts, female-fronted band too. Awesome band. And Malika from obviously Abnormality, really good stuff too. Brutal death metal, and like you mentioned, Lacuna Coil, good stuff too. But yeah, there's a bunch. A lot of black metal as well, so really good stuff.
Yeah, speaking of female black metal artists, I always try to drive people towards the band Demonic Christ because their fucking amazing vocals are just like crazy good. Like you'd be forgiven if you thought that she was a male vocalist because of how it is. Same with Awaiting the Autopsy. You'd be forgiven if you thought she was a male vocalist because of how like deep and guttural she can get.
Yeah, Awaiting the Autopsy was amazing vocals on that. It's like so awesome. Another like a heavy metal, power metal band from I think it was from Chile. It was called Defeater. Amazing band. Sounds like Halloween. Oh yeah, Defeater.
Okay.
Really good. You know, when I'm like, damn, that dude has a pair of pipes on him, and then come to find out, it's a female fronted band. I was like, whoa, amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Have you guys heard of Matriarch?
I haven't until I actually saw your video on them.
One of the great bands that coming out of Ohio, Estuary. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it, Azag.
Yeah, I've heard the name a few times, but I know I've never really heard a lot of their stuff. But just going to shows and stuff.
You've never got to see them live, and
no,
they don't play or anything around you guys.
No, we're kind of. I think they're more on like the western side. I'm kind of over on the eastern end of the state, so I've heard the name bounce around a few times, but I've never actually got to see them.
Yeah, I heard the name too, but I've never seen them either.
Yeah, they're great live. Definitely check it. I mean, I think maybe they're on a hiatus, but definitely at least check out their music.
What kind of music is there? What genre?
I would say definitely technical death metal. It's got Ash from Faith Extractor on there, and among like probably 100 other bands. I threw them in my second video.
Right, Faith Extractor, nice.
Yeah, Ash Thomas.
Nice.
I completely forgot about that band. Awesome shit.
Yeah, really good.
That's what he was doing before the Faith Extractor.
Nice.
It's phenomenal stuff. Real technical,
pretty cool.
Really great stuff.
Who was the one? Sorry, who is the one that brought up Eyes Set to Kill?
Eyes Set to Kill? No.
Wasn't it you, Trez?
Nope.
No. Oh no, you brought up X's for Eyes.
Heck no. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know what that band is. An X for what? X for Eyes?
X's for Eyes.
X's for Eyes? No. I
No?
don't even know what that sounds like.
Oh, in the last stream that one of us brought up either Eyes Set to Kill or X's for Eyes, but yeah, not bad bands. If anyone's watching, check check those bands out too. There's like a death metal band that I'm trying to think of too. It's like Torrance or Abstraction or something like that that has a female vocalist, and it's actually really like I think maybe two bands. I don't know if it's Signs of the Swarm, maybe. No,
I know
that doesn't sound right.
Signal the Swarms, but yeah, no.
Fuck. I hate when my brain goes like. But no, if I remember the name of the band after the stream, I'll link it below. Definitely pretty good. Another one that kind of gets forgotten is Bloodlines Calligraphy. They're kind of an all-right kind of like band that was female fronted and had a couple of female members in it, and they were sort of like Kitty, but
I remember years ago, I got a tape from a band called I think it was called Drained, but it was all females. The whole band was ladies, but it was really, really good. I wish I still had that tape. My stupid cassette tape ate that shit. But yeah, that's one of the tapes that's on my to get list. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Drain. I forgot where they were from, but really good band.
You mean Drain STH?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because they had like an abbreviation afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Drain STH, and I think one of their albums was Horror Wrestling.
I just had the first one because it came out on tape back in the day. It was pretty good.
Okay.
I don't know, man. The most popular female I get into is probably like Doro or Wendy O. That's about as pop rockish as I don't even know half the bands you guys probably mentioned. But Doro's still rocking it out. She's still hey, she's near 60 years old, I think, maybe even in her 60s, and she's still singing, touring, doing charity, all kinds of stuff she does.
Yeah, Dora was awesome. Yeah,
I love Dora.
Yeah, Dora
when
was
I was
good.
a girl, I wanted to. I looked up to her. I wanted to be like Dora, look like Dora.
No, it was good. Dora was good. Yeah, good lyrics too.
Crazy.
Catchy lyrics too.
Love Doro, Wendy O too from the Plasmatics. I mean, come on, that's a real show right there. I mean, people would fight to get to the front stage to see Wendy O. Definitely. Nice. I don't blame them. I would fight too.
Does anyone remember the band Scratching Post or Kidney Thieves?
No.
No. Around what year?
What was that, Trey?
Around what year?
Remember the year? It was like sometime in high school for me. So like 2000, 2001, maybe 1999, in that area.
No. Maybe the 90s, but not 2000s. No.
Okay. The Kidney Thieves actually had a song on the Queen of the Damned soundtrack. Did you ever see Queen of the Damned?
Oh, that's the vampire movie, right?
Yeah, with Lestat.
Yeah. No, I know I had the soundtrack, but I don't remember any song on there on that soundtrack. I think my wife had that soundtrack. She probably still has it, but maybe it was because of Seven Dust. Maybe Seven Dust was on there, but yeah, I don't remember that any song from
Okay.
there. Maybe.
Well, the Kidney Thieves song was playing as Lestat and Jesse are kind of like walking off into the city at the very end, and things are kind of like speeding up and going past them.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. I did forget one band. I think they're either from Kentucky or Tennessee. Engulfed in Blackness. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
No.
Kind of a brutal death metal / grindy type band. Jessica Sullivan sings for them. Just brutal as shit. I definitely check them out.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
They actually just released an album, I think, last month.
I like the name of the band. That sounds cool.
Yeah, you had me at brutal death metal. I'm like, ooh. Hello.
My most recent female metal band that I saw live was Savage Master. I posted it in one of the episodes I did. Got that little Stacy Peak, I believe is her name. She's about like 5'3", if that. But she puts on a fabulous show. If you ever see Savage Master coming through your way, please definitely check them out. I believe one of the guys, one of the guitar players, I didn't know which one it was, but I believe they were in Nashville Pussy as well.
Cool. Definitely have to check them out.
Yeah, I just wrote that down just to make sure.
Savage Master.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. I think I put them on my first part 1 of my series. And I played a clip of the show that I actually saw here at the Cobra Lounge. I also saw them at Metal Threat Fest as well here at Reggie's in Chicago.
Aren't they like fabulous. A thrash band?
Yeah, they got thrash, metal, thrash metal-y. They got a theme to them, Savage Master. She's dressed up like a dominatrix, and they got the mentors type hoods on, the goon hoods, the henchman hoods.
Nice.
And they wear chains, and they got their thing going on, and they do it well live. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, sometimes people just get up there and they just stand there, and I mean, there's nothing to look at, but this was definitely a lot to look at for you guys.
What type of music was it? What genre?
I would say like heavy metal. Pretty straightforward, just heavy metal.
Nice.
Got some thrash breakdowns, some thrash drumming. Singing as well. Her vocal styles are, heavy metal, thrashy type vocals. But definitely, if you see the flyer or whatever, if you can, check them out. I would.
Nice.
Definitely.
So I just found the band that I was trying to talk about earlier that started with an A. They're called Abnormality.
Yeah, Malika from Abnormality. Yeah.
It's a really good one. Definitely recommend anyone watching check them out as well. She's in another band too. I can't remember what it is.
Parasitic Extirpation. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. Yeah, which she, I told you guys the story, but yeah, she hates me. But yeah, that's she's a good vocalist and amazing. Those two bands, Abnormality and Parasitic Extirpation, great bands. Another one, I know Austin mentioned this last week, is Sisters of what is it? Sisters of Mayhem? No. God damn it. Band. I'll probably interrupt you guys later, but Sisters of Something. I'll probably try to text Austin. If he could chime in on this on the comments too, it would be awesome. But yeah, God damn it. But yeah, that's what it was. Sisters
No
of Something.
worries. Yeah, no worries, man. I was having a giant brain fart on Abnormality earlier, so it happens.
I think you're thinking. Are you thinking of Sisters of Suffocation?
Mm-mm.
Nice. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man. They're solid thrash. I know the one girl, the guitarist, I think, had a YouTube channel. I don't know if she still has it or not.
Yeah, she's still going with it, but obviously most of her time gets occupied with the band now. But yeah, still going.
Yeah, that's pretty legit thrash if you're into that.
Yeah, good stuff. And I guess another band that I normally don't get into because I just don't like the genre too much. I'm not too much into fantasy and stuff like that. But when I say recently, it's probably within the last year or so. Nightwish. Got into Nightwish a little bit, even though, again, I'm not too much into the lyrics. I'm more like a death metal, brutal death metal type lyrics stuff, as you could probably tell. But
Yeah.
Yeah, her vocals is just it's like fucking angelic, even though what the fuck I'm wearing, but really amazing lyrics and just the vocal range is like, oh my god, really really nice. But only a couple songs. Again, I don't like that genre too much, so I won't try to venture too much into that. But as far as vocal wise, yeah, amazing stuff.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I had probably about 5 or 6 Nightwish albums. Ended up selling them to my sister, so hopefully she's giving them a good home.
Yeah, again, don't like too much of that genre. Or don't know too much about it, and but as far as vocal wise, I just came across it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh wow, pretty nice. Again, don't care too much about the subject matter, but as far as just the vocals wise, is like fucking amazing. It's like kind of like everything that almost kind of like Sarah from Cradle Filth. I think it's a good mention. Her vocals on everything she did for Cradle Filth was just fucking amazing, and I think that it's a good mention because her vocals are just amazing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I think they lost a lot when she was gone. I think her vocals elevated the atmosphere of their music so much, and it's kind of been missing, in my opinion, since she left.
Yep.
Yeah, the Tarja, I guess her name was, the original singer for Nightwish. The first stuff probably maybe a little bit better than the new vocalist, but the song Amaranth by the new vocalist was pretty good.
Have you guys ever heard of Grey Cat?
Grey Cat?
Yeah, Grey Cat.
Hold on, I could pull up a Grey Cat somewhere around here. But yeah, no, I have like 5 cats, so one of them is gray.
No,
But
great.
Oh, like a great cat?
Yeah, like a great big cat. She's a guitar virtuoso, very very good talented guitar virtuoso. She was from like the 1980s, 1990, like early 90s, late 80s. She was denied to play the Milwaukee Metal Fest back in 1992. So she actually had a stage prop. So instead of doing a stage prop on stage, because she got denied to play on stage by the promoter, she came out in the crowd. It was like a box So all of a sudden we were all standing there, and a guy wheels out a huge box, and she comes busting out, and she's playing her guitar and running around. But she's a very talented guitar player, obviously being a self-titled guitar virtuoso. I do believe she did tell us that she believed the promoter didn't want her to play because she thought she was female.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that there's still kind of sexism in metal these days. Like, I don't know why promoters gotta do that kind of shit. Like, if the band brings in an audience, then that's all that should matter.
It's true.
Yeah, especially, you know, as the metal in general has a maybe now, but back in the day, I know it still had a very misogynistic stance towards metal, and I never understood that. You know, if anybody has the chops to do it, fucking do it, and doesn't fucking matter. And yeah, I never understood that shit, and it fucking sucks.
Well, one of my old school favorite female fronted bands. I didn't even know it was a female until somebody else told me. You know, I had listened to the album quite a bit, and her picture is on the cover of the cassette. And I didn't even know. It didn't matter though. Did it matter? No, it didn't matter. It never did. I was like, oh, I didn't know it was a female. And then he pulled out a fanzine and said, here's an interview with Karen.
And what band was that?
Acrostation from the Netherlands. They formed in like 1991.
What kind of music? Genre?
Death metal.
Nice.
You know, your straightforward Netherlands style death metal.
Hell yeah, straightforward, the best, the best, old school Netherlands death metal.
Did it really matter as a female?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know, didn't care. It was good stuff. I was like, this is from the Netherlands. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
True. What do you guys?
And then if you look at metal in general, I mean, there were some pioneer women like from the 1960s. I mean, look at Janis Joplin, look at Grace Slick. I mean, these were women who did face a lot of slack in the music industry. They were underpaid, undercut, taken advantage of in a lot of respects. But they were tough. They survived a tough era of the music industry as women. And for me, Gory Laurie and Joe Bench are the Janis Joplin and the Grace Slick of my era. I will always look up to them. They're from my time frame. You know, brutal hardcore death metal for the most part. Most bands aforementioned. I did, like I said, I did a 3-part series. So if you're interested, you know, just check it out. It's basically most of my bands that I look up to out there. And without women like that pioneering, not only were Gory Laurie and Joe Bench pioneers of being females, a whole genre of music. Forget the fact that they're women. I mean, they were there in the beginning. I mean, Nuclear Death started in 1986.
Wow.
Grinding, guttural, brutal, dirty, nasty, filth that it was, that was a huge influence, and most people had no clue that was a female, you know, until you read it in the zine, or you know, Wild Rag sent you the promo pack and you got the pictures, or you know, you saw it on the Axis show like I did, and I was just outrageously nuts over it, and that was in 1991. And they'd been around way before that, pioneering and influencing a lot of bands that people name right now.
Yeah, yeah. I know that there's one band that got a lot of slack, and especially in the grindcore community, um, that they're all old school. Well, one of the original members of Phobia left, which was the guitarist, and then they got a female guitarist, and a lot of fucking hate came for that change. And I've listened to Phobia since the early beginnings, and I always loved their stuff, and I'm a big, huge fan of Phobia. And I, obviously never cared about that, but I always found it fucking sad, and always got pissed off about that shit. It was like, why, who cares if if she got the chops for it, if she got the chops for the job, who gives a shit? And she's still going, and obviously, and then she won all those fucking naysayers over, just because she is who she is, and she had the chops to do grindcore and keep it fucking moving. So I definitely don't give a shit about that, but at the same time, huge props to whenever I see a female, even though it shouldn't fucking matter. But I always like, it's like fucking awesome, because it doesn't matter. It's fucking metal. It shouldn't fucking matter at all. Like you said, you didn't know who this person was until you saw the picture of it. It's kind of like Defeater, that power metal band. I was like, wow. Until I saw the picture, I'm like, what's, it made me more excited about it. And definitely appreciate it. And it's just as it should be, and as it should be played, regardless of whoever's playing it. And I always appreciate that.
Agreed, man. Me if they're female or male vocalists, as long as they have the vocal chops and talent to be able to play, then all the power to them. I know for quite a lot of bands, the vocals for me are what either makes or breaks it for me, whether I'm going to be listening to the band or not. And I find usually I'm not in general, but I pulled out like a pretty fat stack here to kind of show the wide array of different stuff that I do listen to, female vocal wise, and I'd say it's about the same amount as males vocal about them, because it's especially depending on the genre too. Like if on the death metal or thrash metal, it really comes down to what the vocals sound like, whether I'm going to listen to it or not. And I don't think I'm biased towards female vocals as opposed to male, but I would probably say I would lean more to male vocals myself. But it's, once again, just comes down to the music and whether the person has the talent or not.
Absolutely. And for the most part, anybody that has any negative thing to say about women in death metal, you got to realize any female that's truly into this kind of music doesn't care about your opinion. I'm not going to care if you say women don't belong at this show, or women don't belong at this record shop or this record bazaar. You know what? I'm still going to seek out those tickets to that live show. You know what? I'm still going to seek out the CD that I've been looking for. You know what? It doesn't matter what your opinion is. I mean, everybody has one. We all know the saying. I don't have to repeat it. But at the same time, it doesn't matter what you think. Whether you want to hold us back, you think we don't belong here. I mean, what do you want? An absolute meat fest at the live shows? I mean, you want like 40 guys down at the front sweating on each other? I mean, who are you going to turn to? I mean, if you're getting drunk, those beer goggles might get a little hazy there. I go the wrong direction there. So for anybody who has those opinions, I mean, I've been at that other end with comments, and I've had objects thrown at me. I've been attacked. I've had my hair pulled. I've had my bra ripped off several times. I've had my underwear ripped off several times. I've been thrown down. I've had my shirt ripped off. So it's not something that a woman like me is going to run home and boo-hoo about either. You know what? I showed up at the next show. I didn't give a fuck what you guys did or even tried to do. It didn't matter because you weren't going to scare me away. I'm still here after over 30 years. Where are these people? Nowhere to be seen, sight, or heard of.
Yeah, I think it goes to the whole, obviously the whole evolution about, metal as a whole. We got to get that whole misogynistic portion of metal. I think it is still, some parts still linger on, but all depends on whoever's fucking listening to it, and hopefully those jerks or whoever's listening to it just fade away, because it should all encompass just pure metal, and whoever listens to it, and those fucking people will just subside and just fucking fade away. And I hope it fucking obviously keeps on going. We have our female fronted bands, our female bands in general, whether it be bass guitar, drummers, or guitarists, that are pushing forward this genre or any genre that they're in, and all that shit. Hopefully it fades away and subsides.
Well, and it boils down to, if you don't like it, don't look at it. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Bottom line.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Nobody forced you to do anything you didn't want to do.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how there's these people, or like this group of people that seem to just, for whatever reason, if there's some sort of new aspect of metal or a new kind of element of metal that gets introduced that they don't like, they feel like they gotta go and sort of like avid march against it. They gotta petition against it. They gotta bitch wherever they can here and there about it, whether that be some core elements being introduced to metal or some symphonic elements being introduced metal, either that on either on vocals or in bands in general. It just seems like there's like this really narrow, lowbrow mindset where people say, "Oh, I don't like this, so it's impure and has to destroyed or gotten rid of. It's destroying metal by having it in it." It's like, well, that's just an opinion for everyone, and B, it's just because there's a new element introduced doesn't mean it's making metal impure or destroy, etc. It's kind of a really dumb way to look at it. I don't know why people gotta be like that, and like, go listen to what you do like. Life is way too short to fixate on something that you don't enjoy, to keep coming back to it day after day and keep like bitching about it or thumbing down the videos or trolling the comment section or enjoy this stuff. Like, it's counterproductive and it's an absolute waste of time, and I can't get on board with that mindset. I don't understand these people.
Well, for the most part, I mean, I understand my place as a woman. I mean, I know it's a male-dominated scene for one part, and I'm not over here to take anything or say, "Look at me, I'm a woman," or none of that garbage. because that is absolute garbage. It has nothing to do with that. But at the same time, I don't want to be objectified by people in their negativity. Like I said, if you don't like it, don't push on, move forward.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, we should just all should just level the playing field. And, obviously metal and death metal especially. Every subject is, you could talk about, but just so I think people now should fucking just level the playing field, and there's no fucking apprehensiveness. There shouldn't be any apprehensiveness towards anybody doing anything, because it's all fucking art, and it's all fucking music and metal. So there shouldn't be any bullshit towards any of this. And it's just a in my eyes, in my opinion, it's a dead subject, because there's is a level playing field, and I don't, at least in my eyes, I don't give a shit about who's doing what, as long as the metal's good, and everybody has a place in it. It's a general understanding and a camaraderie, and as metalheads, we all share that we shouldn't have these old things, or being placed upon us, and should just keep it fucking moving forward, pretty much.
Right. And the funny thing is, you'll get the people who say, "Oh, just separate the art from the artist and move on and use it." But the same people will be like, "Oh, no female vocalists, or no this or that." You're like, but you just got done saying separate the art from the artist because good music. So it's kind of funny how you get those people too.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, who gives a shit? Because they could probably outsing you, outplay you, and it's all comes down to how you look at yourself and how you grade yourself as a human being. And at the same time, there should, there's no fucking shouldn't be any of this stuff in metal in general. It's like, if you come up with a good riff, if you come up with a good if you sing good, if you play good, or it shouldn't fucking matter. Is we all should contribute regardless of fucking genres in general, because at this point in age, gives a shit, because we all play good shit, we all like good shit, and we all go to the same shows in general. So I don't know.
Good point. Absolutely. You guys ever heard of a band called Dictated out of the Netherlands?
Yes.
Not me, but
that's a two guitar female band. I mean, there's no guts, no glory going on there. Just straightforward death metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's up there shaking their body parts and selling anything.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think a lot, but you know what? Here's me gonna defend some of these idiots out there a little bit. Here it comes. There's something I call Fifi metal, if you know what I mean.
Beefy metal?
Fifi metal. Fifi metal. That's like basically using sex to sell the music instead of the music itself. I mean, it's out there. And so I can see why some people might feel that having females in the mix, and one week we got two females that are dress like everybody else, and the next week we got some sort of burlesque show.
Yeah,
Basically,
go dancers, pretty much.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with. I'm like, what could it be? Like a, you know, I mean, some people don't. They're not there for that, and they want to criticize that, but they also generalize that and lump it into one group. The reason I brought up Dictated is because there you have 2 females and I think it's three dudes, I believe. So you got 2 females, but they're not up there provocateuring or, you know, parading around. And some people, I believe, they fear that's what it's going to turn into, the Saturday night burlesque show, or, you know, next we're going to have like go-go dancers, you know, and that sex sells and it's going to commercialize. I do believe some of these people and their views come from the fact that they don't want to see metal commercialized, and in interjecting a female into the mix, they feel like it commercializes the metal. And I'm here to tell you that reality, I mean, it's a little over paranoid to think that all females are out to over commercialize a band, and that's the only reason why you know, said female was invited into the band had nothing to do with how she sings. It's how she swings, you know. And absolutely, I think that's where these idiots get these ideas. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. There's quite a few brutal females out there. You wouldn't even know that they were females with the way they're dressed half the time, you know, baggy clothes, baggy t-shirt, hair a mess, you know. I mean, they're not up there swinging in it and gyrating, and I think that's what the fear is. And I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I'm pretty sure somebody out there might find that what I'm saying conveys some common sense to the negative connotation of females interjected into metal.
Yeah, because I think I know that band, Dictated. I think it was I think it's a guitarist and 2 guitarists. I think it is. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, 2 guitarists.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, they're, you know, no. I think that's part of it, that a lot of people think that's gonna be like, oh, okay, they're gonna, you know, it's 2 girls in it, they're gonna be over sexualized just to sell albums or just to buy tickets and stuff like that. But yeah, and in no such way should that even fucking matter, because the music should speak for itself. And if and obviously they don't do that. And a lot of people think that I think that they think that, you know, it's death metal, or it could be any other genre, and oh, here you go, you have this ploy just to sell more merch or sell albums and stuff like that. But it could be very far from the truth. Like I said, you know, one of my favorite all-time bands was Phobia, and you got this guitarist, female guitarist, and she's just grinding away, man, and nothing to do with you can't get more raw than grindcore. And obviously she doesn't put that image out, and she shouldn't have to. And the band, all males in the band don't expect her to, which is comes down to it is there's a mutual respect between the band members and obviously the crowd and the people that they go see. You know, they shouldn't have none of this bullshit. And it just depends on the person that you are. If you objectify women in that sense, then it's not for you. Because as far as metal is now, we don't have none of that bullshit now, and hopefully whoever still remains just fucking exits, because there's none of that shit right now as far as I've seen. To the bands that I've gone to see, or the bands that I'm associated with, we have none of that shit. And you know, hopefully these few stragglers just could just see past everything and just go for it, for the talent and the the raw talent that these persons show.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, bottom line, we're talking about musicians first. First and foremost, they're musicians. That's first and foremost.
Yes, exactly.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And then when you see past that, then you can break it down like, I like doom metal. I like different types of metal. There's a good 3-piece coming out, I believe, I want to say somewhere out of Washington. I believe it's Castle. If anybody's ever heard of that one, they're kind of doomish, doomy rock. And I mean, there's a female singer in that band, and she's not too aggressively female on her vocals. Sometimes people are afraid it's going to be over sung or too high pitched or too fancy, and no, she does it real nice and even and well done, well played, and I appreciate for the musicianship more than anything else.
Yep.
Well, probably tackle as much as we could regarding our favorite female vocalists and fronted bands. Is there maybe something in the future that you would like to see more females tackle? Like, would you rather see more females start trying to tackle death metal, thrash, black metal? Like, what would you like to see females try to tackle more in the future?
I think they've done it all pretty much. I think they're if you look really you pretty much you just look into it. They're everything's everywhere, and female fronted bands, whether it be vocal wise, whether it be drummer, whether it be guitarist, bassist, pretty much everywhere. And if this subject wasn't just female fronted bands, I could just go on by the drummer and the bassist or guitarist, female band. How do you call it? Band members, I guess. And there's so many bands out there with female members in there that we could just probably do a separate show on just that alone. But if we're talking about just female fronted band, there's so many out there that everyone, each of us from the panel have our own list. But there's obviously so many out there. Depends on what music you like or what genre you listen to. Obviously, I like more brutal death metal bands, so I would know more about that. But there's just so many out there. If anybody just could fucking comment down below, and what's your favorite female fronted band or vocalist or band members, so we could just because there's so many out there. So as far as that, I guess that's what I have to say about this.
I mean, for me, the modern era, I would definitely say Estuary, great female fronted band, and from an original standpoint, of course, Gory Lori. If we're talking about front women, definitely. If anybody hasn't heard of any of these bands or females, please check them out. Not just for the music, just the people that they are. I know Gory Lori still jams in a band called Raped.
Yikes. Yeah. That's the name. She's
still rocking it. She's 52 and she's still out there.
What genre is that?
Gory Lori, Nuclear Death is her original band, but Raped is more like it's Lori all the way. Let me just put it that way. If you know Lori and her antics, it's a little strange. But that's just her and her personality and who she is. I was watching some of her newer stuff, and it's definitely something that you wouldn't want your younger children to listen to.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's a good topic for another show too. Subject matter and fucking metal, and the stages that it has, because metal could go so somber and go so fucking dark that we probably all know different
Oh yeah.
pages or chapters in metal that we all choose to read or choose not to read or stay the fuck away from. Yeah.
Fair enough. For me, I think it'd be kind of neat to see more stuff like gore grind or even maybe some porno grind bands. I know there's one trans woman who has her own kind of porno grind band called Comfort Satisfaction.
Yep.
Yeah, her stuff's pretty crazy. Definitely recommend checking it out if you're brave enough. It'd be pretty neat to see more women's take on like those kind of genres, because like they are mostly male dominated, kind of men's style of perverted lyrics and like imagery for porno grind and gore grind. It would be interesting to see what a woman's take on the style and imagery and lyrical themes would be, because it's not the same as a man's, and that they have different life experiences and different sense of humor and extremity. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe some female slam bands, because I know that would probably be rare, because it's slam, in my opinion, is a testosterone fueled sausage fest for the most part. But that'd be neat. I think it'd be neat to see if women can pull off those like really low indecipherable gutturals. I know some can, but it's kind of a very male dominated style of vocaling, so that'd be neat to see more women tackle that and bring their and their own kind of views to that style of metal. And yeah, definitely way more female black metal vocalists, as they got a higher range, and forgive me if I'm misspeaking, but I feel like they'd have an easier time doing like black metal vocals. But yeah, it'd be more interesting to me to see that kind of break out a little bit more and become a little bit more like well recognized, and people giving that a little bit more attention, because I feel that it would be worth it. Speaking, before I give it back to you guys, the chick from
Abnormality.
Hold on. Parasitic extirpation.
Yeah, the same.
And
same from Abnormality.
Yeah, she's actually in another band called Castrator. And they actually
from New York, yeah.
EP out called. Sorry?
Yeah, they're Castrators from New York, local band.
Yes.
Yeah, also, goddamn, I can't remember for the life of me. She plays in another band that's pretty well known in New York, but goddamn, I can't remember. God damn it. But yeah, she's Castrator. Really, really good New York local death metal band that, obviously is awesome. Yeah, Castrator, great band.
Yeah. There's another one called Unfathomable Ruination.
Yeah, Unfathomable Ruination. Yeah, yep. That's a slam band, I think.
I think they've got some members from that band too.
Yep.
I don't know if MS is in it or not. But no, it doesn't look like it. But either way, check out Castrator. Just figured I'd mention that since I just found that out.
Yeah, Castrator is a good band.
If you like some porno grind from Romania, check out Clit Gore.
Nice.
Female fronted.
Okay.
Bass player Clit Gore from Romania.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I think I've heard of them too, but I just haven't gotten around to checking them out. But definitely will now.
It's some funny stuff. It's your typical guttural splatter, gore, porn grind, just like any, but from a female standpoint instead of, you know, the male genitalia. It's from the female genitalia perspective.
There should totally be a porno grind band, Dentata.
Oh my gosh, that sounds scary.
Based on that one film called Teeth.
I gathered that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Like I said, it sounds scary.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen the movie called Teeth, definitely go check that out. You'll be cringing a lot if you're a man.
Interesting. Sounds like some low budget porn gore.
Have you seen the movie?
No. I don't watch very many movies. I work a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, the movie called Teeth is about this young lady who, as the title kind of implying, like sharp incisors grown on the inside of her, you know what, and basically she kind of discovers that anytime she kind of gets like nervous or like defensive during sex, she ends up biting the dude's dick off with her vagina.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
And it's kind of.
You left just.
What? I came back just in time or left just in time?
You left just in time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, little column A, little column B. I was just mentioning a movie called Teeth.
Oh yes, I've seen that movie. Yeah, no.
You know that one?
Yeah, I left just in time.
Yeah, and I was saying there should be a porno grind band called Vagina Dentata.
Vagina Dentata. Oh wow.
Well, you never know. You might be onto something there.
Vagina Dentata.
Gabriel Lopez says there are a few all-girl death metal bands that may be through while. Putrefied Beauty from Italy and November Grief from Canada. Well, that's cool. I'll have to check those guys out.
Nice.
And I don't know if we mentioned it before, but Gabriel also mentioned a few black metal fronted bands called Blackthorn, Lesher, Estart, and I don't know if you've heard any of those.
What was the last one?
Sortilegia.
Nope. None of those.
Sing it right.
I haven't heard that one.
And Asagram or Asagram.
Asagram.
Definitely got a few to check out in the future for sure. Is Unleash the Archers female fronted, or is Hostile Graveyard just randomly shouting them out?
Yeah, I think I've unleashed the archers, but yeah, I don't. I think they're metalcore, so yeah, I'm not too familiar with metalcore, so I steer clear from that genre. So I think unleash the archers is probably metalcore. So I don't know. I could be wrong, so I don't know.
Yeah, we don't really roll with metalcore or deathcore too much around these parts.
No, not to say, to be fair, deathcore, I got into them very late because I'm fucking old. I'm like 38, so it's hard for me to listen to new genres. I'm like, yeah, but it's like slam metal right now. It's like deathcore bands and slam bands. They're like you could throw a rock and hit a deathcore band. It's like hitting a slam band right now. So it's hard for me to get invested into a band before they find out they just broke up a couple of months ago. So there's so many right now. It's really hard to get into. But that all goes to the fluctuation of metal in general, what's popular right now and what's it's kind of like a fucking wave. Whether you choose to fucking ride it or not, it's up to you. But there's so many bands out there right now that and genres springing up. I think we're at the same point. How deathcore kind of faded away, hopefully, or maybe, I don't know. Not to offend anybody. And you had deathcore, and maybe deathcore faded away, and then you got slam right now. I think we're at that point that something's fucking gonna fluctuate, and we're gonna get some new genre out there. But there's so many bands out there right now that it's so hard to keep track, especially in these genres that we're talking about. But hopefully one of them kind of stands out, kind of like Black Dahlia Murder stand out. To me, that was metalcore / deathcore, and I never was too involved with them or took too much interest in them because every time I took interest in the band, they always like fucking separated. Maybe it's my fucking dumbass luck, but it's so many bands out there that it's hard to pick a band that you could get involved with. I think that's what I'm trying to fucking say. I don't know. I'm half plaster right now, but yeah.
It's all good, man. Yeah, it seems with deathcore and slam and brutal death metal, you could toss a coin and hit one anywhere in any direction because like everyone who's in a slam brutal death and has probably like 2 or 3 side projects that are also slam and or brutal death metal.
Yep.
And I'd like to say I agree 100% with what you said, Trez. I'm old and set in my ways. I don't think I'm ready to jump into any new genres, regardless of the bells and the whistles. I mean, no matter, even if the band is talented, I'm not going to negate from the fact somebody has talent, but I'm not going to run out and say, endorse this band or this new genre. I'm like a old dog. You can't teach me any new tricks. I like what I like. I know what I like. When I'm looking for something, if it's like what I like, I'm gonna gravitate toward it. But if it's, I'm way past looking for the newest flavor of the month.
Yeah, it's so hard to maybe because I probably think the way you do is like it's so far. So many bands out there that's so hard to like like you're not gonna fucking fool me. I know you're gonna fucking fade away. But it takes me a while because you kind of like it's kind of like tape trading. It's kind of, for me at least, it's hard for me to accept a new how do you call it,
Era.
era, and also a new format, as far as, you know, come tapes and, you know, CDs. And it took me so hard to get into CDs. But the only thing that got me involved in CDs was the artwork, because I could see the artworks, you know, big and stuff, and like, holy shit, this is kind of cool. Um, but at the same time, it's the same way with genres now. It's like genres spring up, but I know that they're probably not going to last, because, you know, we've experienced bands or genres for so long. We kind of have an idea what's going to stick and what's going to not. And especially like when the metalcore, deathcore sprung up, and in the late '90s, early 2000s, or late 2000s, um, there's a bunch of bands out there, and, you know, it's only so few bands that are gonna remain, and those few pickings were the best, and still a lot of the best. Which is kind of like Black Dollar Murder. I was never a fan of them. Early beginnings, yes, but I never thought they were gonna last as much as they did, because they were, you know, all their riffs were pretty spot on. And but it's kind of like Jessica was saying, uh, I'm kind of old school because I'm fucking 38, and he's like, you can't fucking fool me because I know you're not gonna fucking last. But when they do, it's a fucking surprise. So, you know, I give it that hope at when genres spring up. I'm always fucking curious, but I'm very um, um, kind of reserved when it comes to cautious when it comes to new bands. So yeah, I'm like Jessica said, I'm very cautious when new genres spring up, because, you know, I'm always waiting for the one that strays away. I'm looking for that fucking black sheep that's gonna be fucking legit. So yeah.
Glad to have you back, Azag.
Yeah,
Hey.
finally got my shit figured out here.
Yeah. Took me to figure out a whole sentence, so it's good to have you back.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about genres a little bit just to fill you in. I mean, I hate when genres, though, and on a flip side, get oversaturated with just one type of cookie cutter over and over take with you. For me, sometimes it can ruin a genre. What always sticks with me are the bands that were doing something a little different, but not too far different, where it still sticks in the genre.
Yeah.
Yep.
I absolutely hate, and I know a lot of bands do this, but I really hate when they change their sound after like the second or third album, and they come with some stuff that I'm just like, this is not the band. And I really, you know what I always say to myself? It's cool if they want to write these songs for them personally, but what they need to do is make another project, change the name, a different band.
Right.
No, I'm not, and you know what I mean? Like, keep it, you know, the way it was, the way it is, because when I go back to buy your next album, what I'm expecting, just like with genres, what I was saying earlier, the reason why I'm old and set in my ways and I'm not into those newer genres, and I haven't even heard of half of some of the bands around, is because I'm old and set in my ways. So if a band does something like way left field or out of the ballpark, I'm getting a product that I didn't expect in return. So I really like when bands do side projects. Some of the really good power bands back from like the early era that were just power side projects, like Comic-Con. You know, you had Van Drunen on the vocals, and Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Yeah, man, that's some badass shit right there coming out of the early 90s. And that was a collaboration of bands. And, you know, when that band didn't really take off, you know, they only had 2 releases, an EP and a full length. I didn't expect it to, because I knew it was a power collaboration. And it sticks to its style, because they only had very minimal releases.
Nice. That could be a totally different subject too. It's like the genres. It's a good topic. Hell yeah. Because you know, there's the oversaturation of bands right now, like kind of like how death metal, as we know, had its sort of decline. Even though I don't think it was a fucking decline, because there was so many bands out there doing their shit in the underground that kept fucking the shit alive, like Internal Bleeding, bands like that, and but an oversaturation could be harmful to a genre, kind of like deathcore was, or yeah, or metalcore was, and all that stuff that could have been good. You know, you got these little gems that you almost had to, if I could get the camera right, kind of pick out from every genre, or you know, because in metal we have these subgenres that branch out, and you could pick at them. But there's so many fucking vines in there that you could pick so much from, that you don't know which fucking one is legit or which is good. And especially in metalcore, which I didn't get too much into, deathcore or slam or any other genre that you kind of like, which you all should know, because everybody on the panel here has a different taste, we have a different palette, and we like our own shit. That we should know what shit is legit in our own mind, or in our own taste buds. That we should know which brutal death metal bands, like, oh, all right, dude, you're taking this shit way too far, and I don't know about you, but I like to stick with what I know, but pick out at certain bands that I think that are doing something pretty cool, which doesn't, branch out too much of the familiar to what I like. As far as metalhead, to me, I like to stay to my core bands and genres, and like to I don't know how to say it, but I like to listen to certain things. Some things may pass and go. It's like a fucking conveyor belt. And if I like something, I'm gonna pick at it a little bit, and I'll like something more. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have a little bit more of this shit. But that would be a great topic, Jessica. Like you said, genres. Oversaturation of genres. It's a great topic that I don't, I can't even fathom right now.
Fair enough, man. So welcome back, Lord Husk and
Yes.
Azag. You guys didn't get a chance to answer it, but I was going to say to you guys as well, what genres of metal would you like to see more females pop up in, vocal-wise, or just...
I mean, for me, I'd say probably slam, because I don't think at least me personally, I don't know any female slam bands. Basically, I mean, I know quite a few black metal ones. So, I mean, I think that's finally starting to take off, and I'd like to see that continue to grow. But yeah, I'd say slam and maybe like porno grind, gore grind, that kind of stuff.
Right. So basically, what I brought up and porno grind, stuff like that, just to get kind of the female point of view on stuff, and to see what their take on like the lyrics and stuff would be, and maybe some artwork, because it wouldn't be the same as the male side for the most part. But yeah, what have what about you, Lord? What genres would you like to see females pop up in more?
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Be honest with you, because I don't really know many like technical death metal bands with female fronted. The only one brutal death metal band I know that was female fronted was Guttural Slug.
Yeah, she was only in it for I think the one single, or maybe it was a couple of songs.
I think it was a whole album.
Was it? Was it the
that was a whole album?
Was it the whole
album
after?
I don't know. I gotta look that up later tonight. But no,
well, I know Megalo
definitely Slam would be an interesting one. Slam would definitely be an interesting one. Porno grind, grindcore, those would be interesting. But I like to see more like thrash, technical death metal, brutal death metal, stuff like that.
So you'd like to see more, yeah. So you'd like to see more women take step up to the bat when it comes to like gutturals or like growly type of vocals.
Like for example, I was actually watching the video of the live stream. Sisters of Suffocation is a death metal band. Azag. I don't think they're thrash metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found them because of Emily, the person who used to do YouTube. I say YouTube, but I think she still does. She's the one who brought it up to my attention on Facebook, which huge shout out to her and her band, because ever since I heard their music, I'm instant fan. So personally, going back a little bit, because I wasn't in the whole conversation, but personally, I don't think it is wrong at all for females to be in like metal bands. I personally support it. I mean, if you guys haven't seen, like, I listen to bands like Epica, Nightwish, Sisters of Suffocation, Deadlock, which is both basically a female vocalist and a guy doing harsh vocals. Straight Line Stitch, and several others.
Yeah.
Actually, Jesse mentioned one of them. I just can't say the name, but it has coil at the end.
The Kuna Coil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of them for a long time. So, personally, I don't think it's wrong for females to be in metal bands, because it adds a different type of interest for people to take.
Right. I mean, it's basically just like another element added to the metal, and some people like certain elements of metal, that being like core or gent or symphonic elements. Some people, don't do. There's even like kind of like that rap metal style. Some people like it, some people don't. Female vocal is just another element that either you'll like or don't like. I don't think it should be banned from metal or makes it less metal because it's a woman doing drums or bass. It boils down to the talent and how it sounds. I don't think it really matters. They're fucking
right. This is kind of a different topic, but it is on a death metal topic. As some of you guys know, I listen to Sonic Syndicate. Yeah. And I listened to them when the original lineup was there, which was Richard, Roland, Roger. I think it was Robin. I already said Robin. And I forgot the drummer's name, but there was a bassist. Her name was Karen. Yeah. And she was a female bassist. Yep. And personally, I'm still a fan of the band, even though they've taken a unique turn and went to rock. Don't know why, but once a fan, always a fan, right? But personally, I don't think it's right for some people out there to be sexist towards women trying to be in the metal genre, because I think that's fucking pathetic, in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it is. It's a very narrow-minded point of view that's like rooted in sexism, rooted in discrimination, rooted in people trying to take something that's meant for everyone and trying to make it like they're trying to claim it for their own. Like they're trying to claim metal as their own personal sanctuary and trying to dictate what's allowed in it and what's not allowed in it. And they just they don't have the right to do that, and B, it's not about the individual, the music or metal industry in general, and it's about people's own preferences. If someone likes a certain element, if they don't, they won't. It's sort of like how people were kind of up in arms about black metal werewolf saying, "What's the point of deathcore?" And people are like, "Well, the point of deathcore is that it can exist because people exist." And it's like, just because we have death metal, which in his opinion was heavier than deathcore, deathcore, just because one genre is heavier than the other doesn't mean the less heavy genre shouldn't exist. It's just a weird way of thinking. But yeah, some people are caught up in that kind of thinking. They're obviously
right. Actually, here's interesting. I don't know if many people know about this, but if anybody who's watching the stream and you guys are into Carnal Decay, you're not into having females in a band, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're in the wrong band because I believe she's a bassist in Carnal Decay.
Carnal Decay is vocal.
No, I think she's a bass player. She's a bass player.
Oh.
Either that or guitar player. But it was quite interesting because when I bought the shirt and the hat, I had her PayPal information up, and it's just like, wait a minute, who's this? And I messaged her, and I realized, oh shit, this is one of the members from the band. So personally, but personally, I don't care if I get hate for it. I don't care if people come to my channel and disrespect me on it. But I have made it clear to everyone I have full support on females wanting to do metal.
Well, it's kind of like the whole campy horror thing of we all been brought up in campy horror films, and we all know that certain bands have the campy, especially in death metal, brutal death metal, have that campy horror theme going on. But we all know that we all could take part in it. As Jesse, as you said, there's some slam bands or porno grind bands that are like have females in it, and I don't see why the fuck that fucking subject matter couldn't be universal in a sense, because we all grew up with campy horror movies, and we all see it in fucking death metal. But why the fuck there should be genre based? It shouldn't be fucking genre based, because we all know that as far as campy horror movies in death metal, like movies like I Spit on Your Grave and shit like that were like classics, and I fucking love that movie. And there shouldn't be any bullshit into death metal and brutal death metal as far as female bands or male bands, and it should be fucking universal by now. And it shouldn't be a fucking issue, because we all grew up with all this shit, and we all loved all this fucking genre and campy horror movies, and we all could relate to all this shit. So there was a subject matter for everybody, and for the new sayers or newcomers, you gotta fucking look at the whole thing before getting invested or commenting on anything.
Right. Well, another thing that's kind of funny too is that all these, straight dudes that are into metal, they want these metal girlfriends too. And, if there's like a lack of female fronted metal bands, like, cause, people want to relate to the people in the bands and relate to the music. So if women don't have any female fronted metal bands or any metal bands that have women in them, they're going to have a hard time relating to said bands, and therefore there won't be as many metal chicks that these metal dudes are looking to get with, right? Like it's like, hello, you're kind of being counterproductive. More
exactly.
Females in metal.
Exactly. They're just fucking scared little dudes who can't take shit, fucking, to their face, and can't be upfront about it. So they're just fucking scared fucking dudes.
It all comes down to like a mentality. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's the same mentality as people that same with the genre thing. Somebody says, "Well, that guy is not metal. He listens to this genre," or "This person's not metal. They listen to that." It's the same mentality. It's like saying because somebody liked some band you didn't agree with, here it comes. Just because it's a female that you don't agree with, it comes down to that, point blank. And I don't like some, like, let's say new metal, for example. I don't like that stuff. But would I criticize somebody or be rude to somebody because they enjoy it? No, absolutely. Just like I expect somebody to be rude to me.
Right. Oh, correction. I just looked it up. Isabella played for Kano or Cardinal Decay. God damn, there I go again. Just to clear up my mistake a little bit earlier.
Well, thanks for the clarification.
Starts to sound like my fuck ups.
I was gonna ask you, Jessica, if you know any like female-fronted brutal death metal bands, please send them to my my Facebook Messenger because I am interested in hearing some female-fronted brutal death metal.
I just did three videos and all of them are on there. But just to mention a few that I did in my video and you were gone, there's Nervosa. You were talking about thrash. Those broads are just phenomenal. You gotta check that out, man.
Yeah, Brazil.
The Brazilian beauties are definitely a sight to see. You gotta check that out. I did a whole thing about them. Then we were talking about the porno gore. There's clit gore. So I did 3 whole videos on my Facebook. If you're interested, check them out. And there's like a whole bunch of 10 bands plus. I mean, obviously Bolt Thrower. I mean, who can not love Joe Bench, and Estuary, man. I can't believe all the way from Ohio, man. You haven't seen these guys, man. Estuary. That's some phenomenal, man. Them vocals are brutal. I put them on. You got to check that out on my YouTube. Man, she puts dudes to shame, man. Her balls are bigger than half the dudes out there. Chris Barnes ain't got shit on her, man. I'm telling you, I've seen Chris Barnes live. I've seen Zdenka live, man. She's about 5'3" of everything.
Awesome.
Cool. We actually got a pretty good question here in the chat. Hostile Graveyard says, which groups would you say give the best loss? And I'm assuming he means female metal bands.
Oh.
What was that?
Yes, what groups give the best live performances?
Master, man. Savage Master. Because they're actively touring. So if we're talking about modern day actively touring bands, Savage Master from Louisville, Kentucky, I did it on my YouTube. Check it out. Awesome stuff, man. I played the clip from the Cobra Lounge. They played with Deceased and the Lurking Corpses. It was a great ticket, man. It was an awesome night. I would just like to take the time to give my condolences out to King Folly. Here in Chicago, we're all grieving a very personal loss. We did personally know the drummer of deceased October 31. Unfortunately, his birthday had just passed right after he passed away. I think he would have been 43. So, King Folly, everybody, keep Deceased Campus in your hearts, please.
Oh, shit.
Right, condolences to them.
Wait, that's from Deceased?
You don't know?
No, that's from Deceased?
The drummer passed away, man, in Mexico, I think it was.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, like recently, like 2 weeks ago, right before his birthday, they were on a family vacation. He drowned.
Son of a bitch.
He would have been.
Oh, that seems very familiar to me.
Yeah,
I think I saw an article on it on Facebook about it.
Recently. So please keep them in your hearts. King Folly means
Fucking
a lot.
Deceased. Hell yeah, man.
So everybody in Chicago over here, we're shocked. We're thinking about you. We shout out to King Folly and everybody in the deceased in October 31. Everybody, keep them in your thoughts, brothers and sisters. That's too young. He would have been 43.
Fucking hell.
And King Folly, you know how to find us. If you need anything from us down in Chicago, you know us. Okay, you got our number.
All right. Well, we're closing in on 10 o'clock. I do have to cut it pretty sharp for the stream. I got to go and make some food for the family here. But before I go, I do let everyone watching know that I'm going to try and talk to the panel here and get everyone, maybe 3 to 5 female related metal bands, and send them to me with some links, and I'll provide some myself as well in the description box below. So if anyone is interested in getting into female metal bands or female, lead metal bands or stuff like that, there'll be like a decent selection in the description box below in the future archives of the stream. So look forward to that. And a shout out to everyone in the chat here watching. Much appreciated. Thank you guys for joining us for this Sinister Sunday, episode 8. And thanks for, participating and chatting in the chat and kind of throwing around some band names and, being involved. That being Azag from Azag's Abyss, Trez from Total Metal Rejection, Lord Husk from Mr. Evil Ops, and our special guest for the evening being Jessica from My Life as a Death Metal Drummer's Wife. Very, very appreciated that you came and shared some of your favorite female, metal bands with us, and made the discussion a little bit more interesting, and had a lady's point of view on here. Very cool. Perhaps if you have the time in the future, we'll have you back and talk about some future subjects. But that's it for now, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Blagori for the Bloodlines. Sinister Sunday over.